Thank you for listening to this episode of a Vietnam podcast. It's me, your host, Neil Mackay. Before we get started, I just want to say two massive thank yous to our partners for this episode. First of all, for many months now, it is the Seven Bridges Brewing Company. As you guys know, I absolutely love craft beer, and I love their craft beer especially. Go check out the Hai Van Haze. It's one of my favorites, named after the Hai Van Pass up in Da Nang, where they're from originally, but they now have tap rooms all over Saigon. They're award-winning craft beer. So go check out their beers at their Le Tanton location, which is in Japantown. And if you know about Japantown, it's some interesting people watching there, shall we say. So go down to the Japantown, get some pizza slices, or check out their new location on Hai Ba Chung. Also good people watching, but not quite the same. And they have locations all over Vietnam, so they are amazing. Thank you very much for supporting us. And also a massive shout out to the Rabbit Hole Irish Sports Bar. They started off in Phu Quoc, where I did probably my best ever comedy show to about 50 people there. Never ever forget that. It's an amazing location. So if you're in Phu Quoc for a holiday, make sure you check out the Rabbit Hole Irish Sports Bar. Then they opened up one on Pham Viet Chan in the Binh Tan district, where you can find me every single Tuesday night doing their quiz night. We're normally packed out, so if you want to come and get a team, make sure to message me or message the Rabbit Hole Irish Sports Bar to book a table. And they've just opened a new location on Chan Nao in An Phu with the best rooftop view over Landmark 81. So head to that location, and if you want to get a free beer, send me a message. The first 5 people to send me a message will get a free beer, thanks to Ian from the Rabbit Hole Irish Sports Bar. So thank you very much to Seven Bridges Brewing Company and the Rabbit Hole Irish Sports Bar for supporting a Vietnam podcast, and enjoy this episode. Cheers.
Some people think it looks like...
Not gonna lie, I've never been turned on by this. I've never.
You're not fantasizing about what
I've never been.
Oh,
So they woke up the next morning on the field next to the lake.
This is my excuse, is it's rude to say no. Let's keep going.
Don't get too mad at strangers touching your small children.
Wait, you need to clarify touching before we go any further.
Welcome to a Vietnam podcast. I'm your host, Neil Mackay. We're here doing another Saigon Sunday sessions. I'm with my good friend James Jolokia, and we are here at his new bar, new location. So Breaking Barrel is one of my favorite places, go-to places in Saigon for sure. Amazing pizza, amazing wings, craft beer as well. So we're here checking this out with James. We got Paul and Krista upstairs waiting for us. And we're bringing you a special Saigon Sunday sessions where today we're going to talk about what not to do in Vietnam as a tourist. You got some ideas?
I've got some ideas here.
All right, let's go do that.
Let's do it.
Come on. Cheers. Welcome to another Saigon Sunday Sessions. We're back with Krista, 2 episodes in a row. I'm excited. I'm not going to lie, I asked Krista to do it because I think 3 white guys is like super cliche and boring, and then one with a beard as well. It's like, tell me you're doing a podcast without telling me you're doing a podcast. Like 3 white guys and one with a beard. So Krista is the DEI hire, and not because she's Canadian, because she's a female. So
thanks. Thanks for that.
We really value you as a person.
I'm feeling valued. Yeah.
And Adri wouldn't do it. I wanted a brown person, but Adri wouldn't do it. So she's behind the camera today. But we're here with Krista, James, Paul. We're going to talk about something that's really important today because we talked about this and so many things. Things not to do in Vietnam as a foreigner, as a tourist. So I'll go first. My first one is don't hesitate in crossing the road. And if you've lived here or you've been here, you know what I'm talking about. When you cross the road, even though the traffic is crazy and insane, you've just got to go straight ahead. And even just the other day, we were in a taxi, right? And we saw these tourists cross the road, and the woman did not know what she was doing, and she slapped the hood of the taxi and yelled at the taxi driver because she was like trying to get through all this traffic. She was pulling her husband with her, and I think we saw somebody get divorced one time as well because they were trying to cross the road. We hadn't been here very long, and she would like pull him forward, and then he would pull her back, and then he would pull her forward, and she would pull him back, and then eventually you saw her throw his hand down and just storm off and walk away. And I think that's it for them. That's the end of their marriage.
Road rage, hokey pokey. It's good.
But they do this where it's like, hey, I'm here. Don't hit me. Like, you know.
Put your hand up.
Yeah.
Well, like, maybe that's more of a northern thing, but I swear people would cross the road and do this, and then people will stop.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a northern thing.
Yeah. Well, no, the best thing for me is just close my eyes and walk, because just go forward. People are gonna go around you. You're the shark, they're the fish, kind of thing. You know? So
My mother came and visited us, and she got hit by a taxi when she was like 18 or something back in my home city in Australia.
Oh, wait a minute.
So she was,
yeah, I know. Me too.
but like, so she's
I
been
was gonna
like,
say when she was 18.
but she's like lifelong been terrified of traffic, and then they've lived in the country like the whole time. So like, city traffic in Vietnam is insane. So she's like, here, give me her arm, close her eyes, and then I would walk her, my dad would walk her across the road. She's like,
well, in Hanoi is worse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Hanoi with my mother, and she used me as a human shield. She literally, hi mom, threw me in front of her.
She carried you for 9 months.
I brought you in this world.
Well, I remember when we were in Hanoi, our first ever time in Vietnam, we were only on vacation. Didn't know how to cross the road. We were just me and Adri. We were like just terrified. Rush hour traffic. And then I'm not even kidding. Out of nowhere, I just feel a hand in my back, and it's just hear a voice going dee 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 dee, and just pushing me. And I turn around, there's like tiny little Vietnamese guy with a big smile on his face, and he just pushes me through traffic. Remember that? It was crazy. I was like,
Baptism by fire.
yeah, and just walk across, and get across the road, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, the things even like Tunduk Tang Street, when we crossed the road, we did it the other day. Like, this is a 4-lane highway essentially. I just can't imagine in our home countries being like, we're just going to cross this road.
Yeah.
We'll shimmy over like it's the middle of the road. It's very high. I have to like get one leg pretty much
There's a barrier and
vertical.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's mine. Don't hesitate when you're crossing the road. James?
Don't go to Vien and actually sit and drink. Don't sit there. Go there. I take people for 5 minutes. I show them the flashing and the the lights and the we see the beer and no, don't drink that.
This is the World UNESCO Heritage Site, Vien.
Is it really? Is it?
I don't know. I think I see it advertised as that. Is it called?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think it is.
No.
I've definitely seen it before.
No.
Fact check that. Fact check.
Yeah. For real.
No, I'm pretty sure
For
it's
real.
not. Imagine it is so bad.
Yeah. No. Don't go there. Don't spend any amount of time there. You can walk through there and then go to like right. So I'm gonna name drop here for next level's right there. Go somewhere nice that you can sit and actually have a drink and not be taken advantage of, not get your purse stolen. Not I don't know, pickpocketed. I've had
Not
that.
buy drugs.
Don't.
If you don't want to buy drugs, don't go to Vien.
If you want to buy real drugs, don't go to Vien. Not
Have
from
you guys been
experience.
though since you got here?
Yeah.
No.
And we didn't sit and drink, so score.
Uh,
Yeah.
So Vien has changed a lot. So came here. You said 8 years you've been here.
I've been here 8 years. Yeah, it's changed a lot since that. Yeah.
When we first came here, Vien was still like a no-go area, really. Like we came here and people were like, "Don't go to Vien. It's like so dodgy, it's so dangerous, it's shit." But we were doing our teacher training right next to Vien, so we would go quite often. But we always had a good time. We were with friends. We cheap beer. There's still plastic stools everywhere.
It was fun.
It was fun. There was
It was fun then.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Be away.
Yeah,
It was
right.
still like sketchy. Like we had friends who someone tried to grab a purse. Like it was still not the best area, but we still had some good times there. Now, anytime I go near there, I'll sometimes take a friend or somebody who's visiting just to show them what it's like. And now it's just crazy.
Yeah. It's insane. It's Khao San Road, but like condensed, right? Have you been to Khao San Road in Thailand and Bangkok?
Yeah.
So it's like that, but condensed and almost like more debaucherous, right? It's like Pattaya meets Khao San Road, and then just craziness. It used to be fun. People watching. Go drink. Saigon. What's Miss Saigon?
Oh
No, Miss Saigon. I'd sit there. There was upstairs, right, and just watch down and just watch people, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And since COVID, right, is when it kind of like became this loud, thumping craziness.
Well, I think after COVID, because there was no tourists, it had to attract locals more, so it did become more Vietnam. But that means like louder, brighter, flashing lights, competing with each other. I remember we were on the beach in Koh Rong, which is like technically Cambodia, right? But it's basically
Cambodia.
Vietnam. It's like if you look on the map, it's closer to Vietnam than it is
Phu
Cambodia.
Quoc
Just like Phu Quoc.
No,
is Cambodia.
Yeah. That's the wrong.
Yeah.
Totally.
So we were walking along the beach, beautiful, nice, peaceful. There was 2 groups of people. They must have been about 10 feet apart, 5 meters apart, something like that. Each had their own speaker blasting, out competing each other, and you're like, we're both on this beautiful quiet beach. Why are you trying to have your music louder than them? And I feel Boy Vien's a little bit like that, because you have one nightclub right here and then the next one there, and they're both like
competing for your ears. Yeah.
That's
Insane.
Don't go to Boy Vien. All right, Paul, what should a tourist not do in Vienna?
Get a taxi, a walk-up taxi, because prices may vary, especially if you're in a tourist spot or an airport. If you've been here or in Southeast Asia anywhere for a while, you have Grab, and I know the Hanoi airport to where most people live in Hanoi. I know from experience, if I got a Grab, it'd be between 200 to 250.
Yep.
And a taxi driver wouldn't even open the door for less than 400. And I've just had a backpack, walked out of the airport, walked onto the main road, and I'm just hailing guys down, trying to get in that way. And I'm like 400 or 500. I'm like, no. 250 off Grab. And I'm like, just drive off.
Yeah.
DD.
Oh, this Grab? A bike?
A car.
Oh, a car.
Yeah. So even before that, I remember coming to Vietnam in 2017 before I moved here, and being warned about the fake taxis, which had the fake facias on them or whatever it is.
Yeah, when we first came here, there was fake Venice signs. They were a slightly different color, or fake Malin, I think.
And I went to Hanoi first and didn't experience it there. And then come to Saigon and went to the War Museum, where there's part of it's quite brutal. And coming out after that, and your mind, you see the Agent Orange display, and it's very, your mind's spinning. And then there's a fake one that rocked up, and we're like, we start to get in it, and then we're like, oh no. And then the price that he said, we're like, no. And then we can get out, and we get a good taxi, and it was 50% less for a 5-minute ride, which I don't know if it's really worth it for that, but yeah.
Well, I remember when AG's friend, our old friend from college, our home, came to visit, and we met them in District 4, and they'd come from District 1. Oh God, it's so cheap here, it's amazing. It's so cool. And it's we just got in a taxi. You know already what's coming, right? And he said, we got a taxi here, it was so cheap. It was only 250,000 dong. And we're like, you came from D1, just over the canal. We're like, yeah, it was only 250. And we're like, it should have been 50 or 60 or 70.
Tops.
But it's still, he didn't even think he was being ripped off. He's it's so cheap. And so are you being ripped off if you don't know? I don't know.
But there's this whole idea of there's foreigners living in Vietnam or locals who are I would never pay that price. That's ridiculous. I would never do that. And then I remember my friend was here, and he was walking down the street, and this guy's like, your shoe. There's a hole in your shoe. And he's like, oh no. And then he's the guy followed him for 2 blocks, on a bike. And it's I'll fix your shoe. And then he's like, I just gave in. And the guy said a price, and I didn't even barter with him. And I'm like, how much did you pay? And he's like, well, I don't know. The way I looked at it is that I don't want to be a dick, but I earn good money in Australia. I'm fine. This is sort of nothing to me. This is sort of nothing to me. And I'm like, how much did you pay for someone to glue and wipe your shoes with a wet wipe? And he's like, $700K.
I thought of another one. So they tried to scam me at the airport a few months ago, but Grab drivers will try and get you to cancel the ride and take it off their books, right? And then you'll arrive and they'll double the price or triple the price. Or they'll take you down dark alleys and try and feel you out.
It's a woman who was traveling alone at that point.
Yeah.
Late at night with some guy.
I'm like, no, thank you. I got in the car. He took my phone. He canceled the ride, and then he said, "Don't worry, my friend." I got in the car with him, and then I was like, "I will transfer you banking." He's like, "No cash." I'm like, "No banking," and he's like, "No, only cash." And I was like, "No, thank you. I'm leaving."
So you got out.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. But I couldn't get a ride, so I was desperate.
So he came back around, you're like,
No.
All right, Krista, what's yours? What's your something a tourist shouldn't do?
I've been podcasting for years, and the number one tool that helped me become an award-winning podcast producer is the script. No matter whether you're a tech wizard or a beginner like me, the script can help you with everything you need to start your own podcast. If you want to start your own podcast today, download the script. The link is in the show notes. It's my number one recommendation to help you create a podcast easily, smoothly, and it has heaps of AI features that make your podcasting even better. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Let's get back to the episode.
A tourist shouldn't just pull out their cash willy-nilly in public without knowing the difference in the bills. So we were talking about this. This has happened, I think, to every one of us, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Like
sure.
The 20K and the 500K are the same color. So it's
Very
so
different.
easy
Very different amount.
to just pull out the 500K and then the person takes your money and there's no change. That's heart-wrenching.
In defense, though, so I've done it before, but in defense of Vietnamese people, and I think we can all agree, Vietnamese people are just amazing. They're just the loveliest people ever. I've never actually been ripped off with that. I remember doing it in the market one time when we lived in District 4, and the woman was just like, no, like gave it back to me. So I know probably people will take advantage, but I do sometimes think you see things for tourists, like, oh, watch out, you're going to get scammed, or they're going to take in. As someone who's lived here, talking about the money as well, the amount of times that I've been trying to count the money to give to people, I'll open my wallet and they'll just be like...
They'll help you.
They'll just put, literally, if somebody did that in Scotland and put their fingers in my wallet, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Here, you're like, okay, go. And like let them just thumb through it and get your money. So I think it's something you need to be careful for sure. And if you go to Vien, they will definitely not give you the right money.
But to be clear,
so don't go to Vien.
It's happened to me in a taxi. So it's like dark.
Taxis will probably
so
do it
who
as well.
knows though if they even tell the difference or they're just like whatever. I'll just keep it here.
And they get past that because they're different sizes, right? So the whole thing is like they can be the same color, and they're not really exactly the same color, but they're close enough.
Similar,
like the 10s and the 200s, right? But they're different sizes, so it's like that's kind of how I guess it's gotten past.
Yeah.
But I've had that happen. I feel like the taxi scams have gotten less since COVID. I know.
It's the apps as well.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
When was the last time you hailed a taxi?
Oh, a couple days ago.
Oh, really? That story.
Did you get ripped off?
Yeah.
No, well, because I was with my wife and she's Vietnamese, and so she just talks to the guy, and it's like, and then we go home. I think actually it was the day after my wedding, so it was like the Sunday following the wedding. So what was that, last weekend or the weekend before last weekend?
You should know.
I should, right? Well, I'm asking you guys.
We're not going to remind you of your anniversary.
I'm just telling you one thing, you cannot forget that day.
You were more present than I was. I had to walk around and take pictures all night, You were sitting having a good time. I was hungry.
So my next one is do not have a Vietnamese wedding. No, I'm kidding. He had 700 people at his wedding.
800.
Had to go and speak to every single one of them.
I did. And it was long, and I
felt
was
bad.
hungry.
He looked exhausted.
And it was exhausting, and I would never do it again. And it was legitimately one of the best nights of my whole life. I loved it. Yeah. Oh, nice. I loved it. Yeah, and it was funny. We're way off topic, but it was funny because, I don't know if you noticed when I was on stage, I had no idea what I was doing because they kept telling me a different thing to do before I got on stage. And then I got on stage, and they were like, "Oh no, do this," and I was like, "What? You said something else." So that was, it was a great night. Anyway,
I actually have a good one, a good do not. Do not accept an invitation to a wedding in the countryside, a Vietnamese wedding in
Why
the
is
countryside,
that?
without knowing what you're getting into. So I've actually personally never been to one, but somebody told us it's almost as soon as we got here.
I've heard stories.
Yeah. So you probably experienced this, but you look like you were being well behaved, but as a foreigner, you have to go around and speak to every single person at the wedding. And so every single person wants to do a shot of rice with you.
Mohai Bayo.
Which is fine for them because they're just doing one or two or whatever they're doing. But if you go around the whole wedding, you're doing loads. So someone said, be careful of that. Make sure you always have ice in your beer because they're going to give you a lot of beer. So just make sure there's always filled with ice. Yeah. And we were talking with somebody, it's not long after we got here. And either him or his friend went to a wedding in the countryside. And a similar thing happened to them. Said he woke up the next morning in the field next to the wedding.
See?
You could twist that, even say, from being in Hanoi for a while in the north and loving beer hoys, is don't accept the shots from the young Vietnamese guys.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, for the same reason, because it's like I've been at a beer hoy and they're with like some Western friends, and there's a table across from us, and it's all like Che Cho, like the young Buffalo Vietnamese boys.
Is that how you say young buffalo?
Yeah.
Che Cho?
Yeah, it's a very
It means young buffalo.
Young buffalo.
Yeah,
It's very much a northern thing.
Oh yeah, you just literally said young buffalo, and I said, oh, it means young buffalo.
Good translation.
I do what I can, man.
Mean young buffalo?
Yeah, I'm in Vietnamese class. I'm in Vietnamese classes, so that's how I just did that.
It's alright, I'm Scottish, anything English classes. Sorry,
But you see them, we're drinking, we're chatting, and I see them drinking and they're doing shots, and you sit talking, and then one guy works up the courage to walk over to your table, and he's like, hey, photo, and you're like, okay, come man. And he's like, and he buys shots, and he's like, cool. And you're like, okay, cool. And you're taking 5 photos, cool. And he walks back, and his friends are high-fiving him, great job, that's cool. And you catch up with your friend, and then another guy from that group walks over, who's worked up the courage, and do the whole dance again, and he goes back, and then another guy works up the thing, and it just goes on and on and on.
So this is my experience with the weddings, like outside,
weddings.
The country weddings. My friend Hui, which we actually talked about before on one of your other podcasts, had a wedding down in the Mekong, and I went. Luckily, they didn't make me go to the tables; they all came to me. But it was Mo Hai Ba Yo, and I was like, I have to leave in the morning. I can't do this. It was, but it was definitely Mo Hai Ba Yo. Everyone coming up. It was great. It's great fun.
Oh,
but yeah,
sure.
you're going to you better hold your alcohol.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the line of like, I want to be friendly, I want to have fun, I want to engage.
Yeah.
Then also I'm like, I don't want to be your patsy foreigner we're taking a photo. I want this to be a friendly and genuine thing.
I don't want alcohol poisoning as the biggest thing. You know?
Yeah, but a Vietnamese friend told me that it's very rude to say no. So she's like, you can't turn down. If someone comes over and offers you can't turn them down. And at one point I was like, I don't care. Like, I've had way too much rice wine. I can't, I'm sorry. I will cheers with my beer, but I can't do anymore. And she was like, she was not happy. She was just like, that's rude.
This is my excuse is it's rude to say no. Let's keep going. I have another don't.
Go on.
Do not haggle outside of tourist markets. Bentan market,
That's a good one.
Russian market. Everyone thinks you come to Vietnam and you're haggling like wherever you go. I've had people come in here at the other location, and they're like, at the other location recently right before it closed, and they're like trying to haggle me, and I'm like, this isn't that.
There's prices on the menu.
Yeah, right. This is the cost right here.
I spent money on this font.
Yeah, right.
No money in the font. Free fonts, fucking haggle. Like, I said money in this font for not haggle.
Well, to be fair, I didn't. It was a free font.
Google fonts.
Papyrus.
To get the free font.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I was the designer, but that's not even true. But yeah, I mean, like at local markets, I've seen people like, oh no, lower, and the people are just like, 30,000 for a kilo of grapes. Like, well, I mean, it's more than that.
I was going to say a kilo of grapes.
Yeah, right.
300,000.
I threw the wrong fruit out there.
Yeah, grapes is ridiculous. Grapes is like more expensive.
Super expensive.
But anyway, we'll forget about that.
but don't haggle outside of markets that are created to haggle.
Yeah. Well, so I had a joke about that I came up with when we were in Thailand, and we were on a boat down a canal or something. I was just, as a comedian, you're just kind of thinking about things and how can I make this a joke, and I was like, it's just funny that Westerners come over here and they try and haggle over things, and especially because the currency here sounds so large, so you're like, oh, can you take 50,000 off? And you're like, okay, so you're like, I've just saved 50,000. You saved £2.
Yeah.
Like if you start, and I was like, that was the start of the joke. I remember thinking about it on the boat, and I was like, okay, so you're like, I'm haggling whether you're in Thailand or wherever you are, but you're bringing it down by £1 or $1. Like, it's ridiculous. And then you're just going to go home and spend that money, like, without even thinking, or you go to the bar or whatever.
Yeah, well, and it's okay for them, right? Because they're still making a lot of money, but then you just look like an idiot because you just saved £2.
Yeah, so it's like, just Well, I rarely haggle these days in most places because I'm just like,
Yeah.
Is it worth the satisfaction of winning to justify how much of a prick you are?
The energy as well that goes into it, so that's a good. Don't haggle. That is a good one.
Outside of the markets that are made for that, you go to Benton Market, right? You see a football kit. They're like, oh, that's $1 million. You're like, bro, I just saw that for 50,000 right here.
They haggle with themselves as soon as they say
right.
as soon as they say the number.
Okay, I'll give it to you 800.
Yeah.
Okay, 600. As you're walking further away.
Yeah. How much did this cost? Because it just went down dramatically. Krista, what else you got for us?
So certain parts of the world, you can use hand signals. Thumbs up is good in some places. It's not good in others. Crossing the fingers is a good luck sign in some countries, and it's really bad here. It kind of looks like a piece of female anatomy.
It doesn't, no, really. It's like this looks like a heart. It doesn't. Like,
I mean, some people think it looks like.
Not gonna lie, I've never been turned on by this. I've never.
You're not fantasizing about what it's
never
going to
been.
be.
Oh, that's fucking hot.
I don't know.
I'm getting worked up right now just watching this.
I also don't really see the Korean love fingers.
No, I don't either. I'm like,
but
how is this a lot? I mean, kind of get it.
It's all about the imagination.
I was gonna say you guys have no imagination.
I guess this is like the imagination as well. It's
Which is
really
closer.
rude. It's like
That was one of the first
calling
things
someone
we were
the
told.
C.
Yeah,
The C word.
And then of course we were really drunk one night when we first arrived, and there was a bunch of people that we'd done the English language training, and we were in the back of a taxi, and we were just out the back of the taxi being like, ha ha, so immature, like not giving the finger, just like ha ha.
Scottish people.
Yeah, right. But the other thing about hand signals is the one where if you go like this to someone.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't do this here.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's really rude. You have to do it
That's right.
upside
The first
down.
time I saw someone do this to me, I thought they were like
Brushing
shying
you
me
off.
away, which I know where we're from, that would be like so rude. If you said something, they were like, but here it means come here.
Yeah.
Whereas we'd be like, come here.
It's so rude to do this.
Yeah.
You have to do it. My students taught me that almost.
Yeah, and these things as a tourist, like you just don't know it, right? If you come here as a tourist and you're like, oh,
I feel
well,
like
and you do it right. Like coming here, it's nature. It becomes nature when you're just like, hey, come here, you know.
And then you feel rude if you don't do it.
Yeah, right. You know, like same where I'm from. You know, hey, come here, come over here. You know, but like here is brush you off.
Yeah.
Or a little off subject again, but like pointing in the Philippines. Have you seen that?
No.
Like, hey, where's the gas station?
No. They point with a chin.
With their lips. That's another one. So right? I have a chin. No, like that's actually where I learned this was in the Philippines. That's what I think of. So I learned this in the Philippines. But then like, where is something they point with their lips?
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was more like a reference, like over there.
No. Well, here also, you don't they don't point at things here, right? It's the whole hand. Like when you're pointing, it's the whole hand that way. Yeah.
Wait, whoa,
I know. Hey.
Whoa, that was.
All right, Elon.
No.
Picture of someone like that doing that.
In Vietnam.
Was it Elon Musk?
Yeah.
But it's he's pointing. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. So I think it's more of a side hand more than a
reference.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of
it's more of a Roman salute. I think it's
So the other one, and I didn't learn it right away, was after you finish eating with your chopsticks, or if you're taking a break, you're taking a drink, you can't put your chopsticks in your bowl. You have to. I've heard you can lay them across the bowl. I think.
No, yeah, that's what I do. I lay them across,
lay them across or lay them beside, but it's really taboo to put them in your food standing up. I think it's a bad omen.
Which I think is us as Westerners, could we just put a spoon or a fork or whatever
Yeah.
in the bowl? I know my natural reaction would just be like, put the chopsticks in the bowl. But I heard the same thing. Someone told me it's like really bad luck or a bad omen or something. So,
Yeah. It's supposed to signal like you said before, a headstone or death, right? So it's like the incense that you put out for your ancestors on the headstones or on the altars, and it's it's not good luck.
Yeah. So don't put your chopsticks in your bowl.
A related one: don't pass food from chopsticks to chopsticks.
I don't even know what that means.
Because
I'm just not that good.
No. Well, I mean, like you two, right? You would do that, right? It's not a hygienic thing. So the reason is because when it looks like something to do with a dead body, with what they do, like they have these sticks that they move parts with, and they hand parts to the other person. So yeah, it's super dark, and I need to get the full story now because I don't recall what it was. But you're not supposed to pass food from chopsticks to chopsticks.
I still don't get what you mean, though. What do you mean pass food from chopsticks to chopsticks?
Like
so if I have chopsticks, I'm gonna give you you want to taste this brisket? Hold on to it.
Off here.
Yeah, no, like you use your chopsticks to take it from my chopsticks. Yeah.
I've never seen anyone do that, but then maybe that's why. This is weird, though. I wouldn't imagine eating more.
But also,
Okay,
it's
the
like
chopsticks.
sanitary. Like maybe we're not lovers.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna. Sorry, edit that. but like we're gonna put chopsticks. Like this goes in my mouth. Like in the West, you wouldn't. My fork wouldn't touch your fork, right?
That's cool.
Spoon with spoon, obviously.
That's going to be the start of the episode. First thing, my fork wouldn't touch your fork.
It's reminiscent of a funeral ritual where bones are passed between chopsticks.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone watching this would ever pass food from chopstick to chopstick because it sounds ridiculous, but don't do that.
Have you never shared food? Like try the spring
Well, we
roll.
do. Yeah.
I mean, and then
But,
you use your chopsticks to pass it, you know?
I thought we were sharing food before, but then someone got it.
I'll just eat it.
Oh, yeah?
I just eat it off your chopsticks.
It was a whole pizza, to be fair. One slice, yeah.
Oh, okay, man. What else we got?
Don't get too mad at strangers touching your small children.
If you're thinking of starting your own podcast and you don't know where to begin, then get in touch with me. Not only do I make a Vietnam podcast, I make smarter podcasting, and I run 7 Million Big Podcasts, where we help people make the best podcast possible. If you want to start a podcast, book a free discovery call with me, and I can chat you through very quickly what you need to do, how I can help you, and how we can help you make the best podcast possible. So get in touch. The link is in the show notes.
Wait. You need to clarify touching before we go any further. Because that sounded really bad, made Vietnamese people sound really bad.
Also, bear in mind, I think Vietnamese people are very much more touchy-feely affectionate.
Still not going well. Go back.
Okay.
Go back. What is touch? Don't let people touch your children.
Okay, I'll tell this story, and then this will make
It
more
takes
sense.
a village to raise a child.
Okay, so my first day here, my friends that were here that I first moved in the same building with them, there was a Western couple, and they had 2 beautiful daughters who were like 4 and 5, and they're like white little white girls, blue hair, blonde eyes.
Sounds bad. We're going on a
And
bad
then-
path.
And then we crossed the road from the apartments, and this Vietnamese woman who I never met before, and I found out they never met before, walks up to them, sees this cute little 5-year-old girl, and just picks her up and is holding her on her hip, and then just touching her in the back, and she's genuinely like, it's a genuine like affection and passion, and she's not being like trying to steal her or anything, but that's just how that's generally it's just acceptable in Vietnamese culture. That people will do that with strangers and stuff. So I remember being like, what the? And I'm like eyeballing the shit out of the mother, and she looked at me and she's like, it's okay. And I'm like, what the? And so yeah, but like strangers will grab your children or babies even. I literally.
I think your verbs you're using are too intense. They won't grab your children. They don't touch your children.
They do though. It's a luck thing. I've had friends who've had babies here, and it's a luck thing to squeeze the baby's butt, like to see how chubby they are is like a reflection of how healthy they're going to be. And so like I remember going to I went to it's like a reverse baby shower but for dudes. my buddy did it. It was
for like dads, I mean.
for a dad, to be dad. It was like what do you call it?
Reverse baby shower.
Golden shower. Oh no, that's
like Huggies and Chuggies, he called it. So we're like Huggies, like the diaper brand. So we go diapers, and we got drunk, and we threw beers. And I remember telling this to him, and he's like, "What?" And he's a Canadian guy, and he's like, "What? Some strangers just kind of walk up and like pinch my baby's butt?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, get your head on a swivel. Be ready, it's gonna happen." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then I see him like 6 months later, and he's like, "Happened, man." And I'm like, "No, you told me." And he's like, "It's true. There's no maliciousness in it."
No,
but yeah, like that happened in Australia, man. Our mother would be knocking some teeth out.
Be on 60 Minutes on
Absolutely,
Sunday.
yeah.
The worst thing that's ever
It's
happened. Well, so my sister just visited with her baby, 18-month-old, and I was working one day, and her and Adri went out with the baby and had breakfast. And I got a picture of a random Vietnamese woman holding the baby.
Only one.
And I was like. And the message was like, the staff just love the baby. They're like all picking her up and holding her. And then my sister had no problem with it. And she lives in Australia and she's very rural-focused, rural-based person. She was amazing. She didn't care. She understood right away, like, this is a different culture. And then so normal here. Like, it's just so weird. But I think it's not just Vietnam, because coincidentally that week I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about being in Italy. There's an American couple and they were in Italy and they were like, they just love children. So we were in Italy with our child, and it was me and my wife. We never get time together, but we had the kid with us, which is fine. They just picked the kid up, took her away, and they were like, okay, you eat your food, no worries about it. And for like an hour and a half, the staff just looked after our kid. And they were American, and they said something that I thought was really interesting. They were like, why do we hate children in America? And I was like, I don't think America or Australia or the UK hate children, but they definitely don't have the same relationship as other cultures like Italy, which I didn't know. I've never been to Italy.
We only hate them after they're born.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I feel like
not getting into that.
I feel like it's a protective thing though, right? Like, it's like, I love and care for my child so much. I don't trust you, a random stranger with a beard, to be around my child. Like, maybe I get to know you first.
This guy's beardist.
Yeah, but I think it's about like a collectivist society versus individualistic, right? Like this whole idea of it takes a village to raise a child. Like they still have that here, and we've lost it.
And it's such an intimate culture, right?
Yeah.
Like men will put their hands on other men's legs, and the first time I experienced that in Hanoi, I was like, "Is this guy hitting on me?" You know, and also to compile on what you said, like I watched my wife's nephew for the first time the other day. He was downstairs. She went up to her parents' apartment because we live in the same building, and I felt really awkward because I was like, in the U.S., you don't leave bearded dudes with your child, and I was like,
"You beardist."
I mean, I'm self-loathing beardist right now. Yeah, but I was just like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I'll just leave them right here.
Everyone can see my hands. You can see them right here.
You know, and he's a fun little kid, but I've never been around a child by myself in Vietnam for 7-8 years that I've lived here, and I was just like, why would they just leave him here with me? You know?
Because we have this thing in the West where we're just like, I'm not allowed to touch someone else's kid nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, right? We're getting too deep in the weeds then anyway. Let's go back to what you shouldn't do as a tourist. Right. What else we got? Shouldn't do as a tourist. I got a good one. Is if you're a tourist, you're visiting Vietnam, don't be in touristy areas. And I've seen this before. Don't take pictures of the traffic or videos of the traffic with your phone like this. And because the traffic here is so crazy, and I forget that because I'm just so used to it. And then you see a tourist, and you're like, crazy, just bikes and cars everywhere. But then that is so. People ask me even recently. A friend was like, "Oh, how's crime in Vietnam? Or how's crime in Saigon?" I was like, "It's fine. It's no worse than any other place. You might get your phone snatched, but I haven't heard of anyone having their phone robbed or anything in ages. It used to kind of be like I had my phone robbed by a ladyboy, but that's a different story. Or you might know the story already. But I got my phone robbed by a ladyboy. It's a story for another time. Just watch out if you get offered boom boom. They don't want to offer you boom boom. They want your phone. But yeah, so I remember we were driving through District 1 and there was a Korean guy on the street corner like literally doing this, and I was on my bike, so I pulled up to him and I was just like, just touched his phone, like put it down. He was just asking for somebody to. I mean, I know I'm not victim blaming or whatever, but like it's opportunistic crime here. I think. I mean, I've been in Barcelona when they will target you. We just landed, and some guy's like, "Hey, where are you going tonight?" Blah blah blah. 2 minutes later, his phone's gone. Like,
I feel like it's better here. Like crime rate is lower here. Violent crime is almost non-existent here, right? This stuff happens.
So I have one more question for you, Krista. I think I'm interested. We talked about it at the beginning. Is that any female traveler or as a female? You're not just here for the DEI hire.
We're not going to ask the beard guy. What about beard
the beard guy? Is there anything that maybe as 3 white guys that we hadn't thought of that as a female traveller that maybe you should be more aware of? Because you mentioned with the taxis, and I think that's valid. Obviously, be careful if you're by yourself, if you're a female.
Well, in Hanoi, there was a thing they were telling people, women, when you were driving, like have your purse across your body. If you're driving and you have your purse on your shoulder, they'll just snatch it and go. To have it across your body.
One last one, and Adri's given a good recommendation. Don't be topless, male or female. Because I've even been, and they're always English. If you see a man without a top walking miles away from a beach, nowhere near a beach or a pool, 100% he's English, like 110%. He's normally very red, taps off. English, maybe Scottish as well. I've never met anyone who takes the top off to walk through a city.
Yeah, just the belly.
Just the belly. Or they'll always get a belly, So don't take your top off. This applies not only to men, but also to women, because we've been on like Ho Cham and a couple of the beaches in Vietnam, and there was these like group of girls, and they were sunbathing topless, and you were just, like, it's ridiculous,
Where
right?
was this?
I'll tell you later. It was awful.
We dropped the tag. That's part of the video.
I definitely didn't pin it on the map. No, but it's true though. So like we're in Asia. I mean, even in the UK, that would be kind of frowned upon. I think you probably could do it. It wouldn't be that big a deal.
Here.
But here, it's just a different culture, more conservative. Just don't do it. And we couldn't believe it. We were on this boat trip and we were at a lunch break, and then there was these 3 or 4 girls, assume they're European. They were just like topless, and it was just like, this is just so disrespectful to the local people, to the men as well who work here, that like, you're topless, so don't be topless, male or female, okay? Does anyone else have anything else to add?
I promise it won't be me.
It won't be you topless.
It won't be me topless. No, I shower with my shirt on.
All right. Thank you very much for watching this episode of a Vietnam podcast. Thank you to Krista, James, and Paul. Congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the new location. It's amazing. I'm super excited. So check out Brick and Barrel on Vauti Sao. Is that say it right?
Don't worry.
Hey, Vauti Sao. It's an awesome location. And then don't forget, go to the Patreon. You can become a buck Sao there. You can buy me a beer, because look, it's empty, so buy me a beer. Go to all the social media sites. Check us out at vietnampodcast.com as well. And if you like this, the best thing that you can do is share it with somebody else as well that loves Vietnam. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you guys. Cheers.
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 Next episode. We're here in Chiang Mai. First meal had to be khao soi.
I couldn't wait. I had a bite already. It tastes delicious. I'm so excited for this. Cheese, corn, baked potato. Where can you go wrong? We've been here for more than 24 hours. We still haven't had a pad thai. I have a controversial question for you.
Yeah?
What's better, Vietnamese food or Thai food? I'm not into MMA, but this looks pretty cool. Adri's already said if they offer at half time, me and her are going to jump in the ring and have a boxing match together.
If I did, I would win.